The first step to making matcha is by choosing your tools. Now for this video, be using my favorite matcha bowl, which is this beautiful white porcelain one, but you can use any kind that you have at home. It's ideal to use one of these because of its natural antibacterial properties. If you don't have a bamboo tea whisk, it's totally okay because you can use a regular whisk or even a fork. You want to use filtered water for the best flavor. Add about 75 megaliters of water into your kettle. You should end up with about 2 grams of matcha powder in total. Our wrists should be facing the same direction as the handle. I found that it's easier to do this if you hold the bamboo tea whisk at an angle. And once you've made a few batches, it'll become second nature to you. Oh, and one last thing. If at any point you see bubbles forming on the side of the bowl, you can just take your bamboo tea whisk and push them down into the matcha. There's something called a chasen, which is a special type of matcha bowl. These bowls are typically handmade and glazed on the outside, but completely bare on the inside. It can be used to make lattes, ice cream, desserts. The list goes on. It's often served in a beautiful garden setting, and it is the perfect way to relax and enjoy the moment. You'll typically start with a small ceremony where the matcha is prepared in front of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Once the matcha is ready, you can then enjoy it while taking in the beautiful surroundings. I personally like to use it to make matcha latte art. All you need is a pan, some milk, and a tamper. I'll leave a link to my favorite milk frother below. The first step to making matcha latte art is to heat up the milk. I like to use whole milk because it has a higher fat content, and that makes it easier to steam. Once the milk starts boiling, you can then start steaming it. You want to steam the milk until it doubles in size and has a nice thick foam on top. Next, take your matcha and mix it with some hot water. I usually use about 1 teaspoon of matcha powder and 3 ounces of water. Once the matcha is mixed, you can then start pouring the milk into the cup. You want to pour the milk slowly and in a circular motion. This will help create a nice latte art. You can also use a tamper to help create the design. Once you're happy with the design, you can then add some whipped cream on top, and you're done. They are designed to be simple and minimalistic, which allows the drinker to appreciate the color and taste of the matcha more. Each bowl is unique, and no two are alike. There are also these really cute little stands that are used to display the bowl. It's a drink that is meant to be enjoyed slowly and mindfully. When you take the time to make and drink matcha, you can really connect with yourself and the people around you. So next time you see a matcha, take a moment to appreciate its beauty and enjoy every sip. They are often made out of wood and have a really nice texture to them. I love using them because they not only elevate the bowl, but they also make it feel more special. Now you can serve and enjoy. Don't worry if you don't get it right away. It did take me a few tries when I first learned how to make matcha. I love creating matcha art and I post tutorials regularly. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, hit that subscribe button. Once you've mastered the zigzag motion, you can then move on to the next step. I personally prefer to drink it without any milk or sugar, but you can add whatever you like. Some people like to add a little bit of honey and others like to add milk. It all depends on personal preference. If you're feeling fancy, you can also try adding some ice cubes. Just make sure to use crushed ice, because regular ice cubes will dilute the matcha. In Japan, matcha is often served with a traditional Japanese sweet called wagashi. These sweets are often made with mochi, which is a type of rice cake. They come in all different shapes, sizes, and flavors. My favorite ones are the ones with a sweet red bean paste inside. Take your whisk and move it in a circular motion around the edge of the bowl. Continue to do this until you see some foam forming on top. You can then take the whisk and move it towards the middle of the bowl and repeat the circular motion. Do this a few times until you've incorporated all the matcha powder. You'll know you've done it successfully if the matcha looks bright green and frothy. Then with our free hand, we're going to take the matcha bowl and slightly tilt it. We're going to pour the water in a circular motion like this, and while doing so, we're going to use our other hand to rotate the bowl as well. This will help incorporate air into the matcha, which will make it frothy and a lot more enjoyable to drink. You might want to do this a couple of times until you see some foam starting to form on top. Once you've got enough foam on top, you can then pour the rest of the water in a circular motion again. Try not to pour too aggressively. You just want to keep that foam on top intact. When you're done, you should have something that looks similar to this. It's okay if yours doesn't look exactly the same. Matcha is supposed to be whisked vigorously, so it's bound to look a little different every time. Again, you might need a little more or less depending on how strong you want your matcha to be. Then, using the back of your spoon, gently press down on the matcha powder to make sure that it's all nice and compact. And that's it. Making matcha is actually super easy. You only have 3 steps to making matcha: adding the water, putting in the powder, and whisking it together. The most important part is actually the whisking. It's where all the magic happens. I like to use my little gooseneck kettle because it makes pouring a lot easier, but you can use whatever you have at home. Bring the water to a gentle boil. Once it reaches a rolling boil, turn off the heat and allow the water to cool down a bit. We don't want to pour boiling hot water directly into the matcha bowl because it could crack or break. So once the water has cooled down, you can then transfer it into the matcha bowl. I usually aim for about 70 megaliters of water in total. You might need a little more or less depending on whether you like your matcha stronger or weaker. You just might want to wash that with soap afterwards. We're also going to need a bamboo tea scoop, or chashaku in Japanese. And then finally, we'll need our matcha powder. This is a really high quality one that I get from a Japanese store. It's very smooth and fine. I've tried a lot of different brands, and I personally think that this one makes the best tasting matcha. As long as it's smooth on the inside, it's going to work out fine for you. Next up, we're going to need a bamboo tea whisk, or chasen in Japanese. Now, before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to Japan Center, who kindly sent me this lovely matcha bowl. The reason why I love this bowl so much is because of how smooth the inside is. It doesn't have any designs or glaze on the inside, which makes it really easy to clean. Also, if you look closely at the sides, there are these really pretty little ridges. They remind me of a honeycomb, and they just add a really nice touch to the overall design. I love pairing this bowl with either of these 2 matcha spoons. They both have a nice wide scoop at the end, so it makes it easy to get the right amount of matcha powder. And of course, it never gets stuck in the bowl because of how smooth it is. Now, let's learn how to make matcha. So, the first step to making matcha is to heat up your water. Next, using your tea scoop, add 2 scoops of matcha powder. So, we're going to take our bamboo tea whisk and hold it like this. And now comes the fun part. Using your bamboo tea whisk, start whisking the matcha in a zigzag motion. I know the whisking part can be quite hard at first, but don't worry, practice makes perfect. Now, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. In Japan, matcha is traditionally served in a really specific way. Matcha can be enjoyed any time of the day. It's great as a pick-me-up in the afternoon or as a relaxing drink before bed. One of the great things about matcha is that it's very versatile. If you're ever in Japan, you have to try a traditional matcha. Matcha is a really special drink. It's more than just a tea. It's a way of life. All right, guys, that's it for today's video.